GM, Fomoverse Radio. This is your show host, Austin Hamilton. Today, we have your special guest, Hilda! What's up, my brother? How are you?
I'm doing well, man. How you doing?
Man, just chilling here in Colorado Springs. We got some snow on the ground. It's about 13 degrees. Tomorrow, we got a 20 below wind chill. So, yeah. Didn't know I was a weather forecaster, did you?
No, I did not. It sounds a little bit colder than here in Long Beach, Southern California, huh?
Oh, California, huh? How long you been there?
I've been here, man. This will be my 12th year in a little bit here. Originally from Wisconsin.
Okay. I got a buddy that's from Wisconsin. And actually, the last guest that I had on here was from Wisconsin. Mike Neff. He's a 3D artist, and he's been kind of emerging in like the POC verse, and he sold out one of his recent collections. So yeah, he's from Wisconsin too, man.
Oh man, you're kidding me. Small world.
So what'd you move to Long Beach for? Is it just your family, a job? What led you out there?
Yeah, I'll kind of give the Cliffs Notes. That's a kind of a story in itself. But I graduated college from a small little liberal arts college in Minnesota. And when I graduated, I had that liberal arts degree that was very non-specific, and I had no idea what to do with my life. And one day, my aunt, who lives in Southern California, was like, "Hey, we're gonna take a little trip to Hawaii. Can you house sit for a couple weeks?" And I was like, "Oh, you know what? Let's do this." So overnight, I decided to pack up my car, threw away like two-thirds of my belongings, and I drove straight out to California. Been here ever since, man.
That's funny you say you threw away half your belongings. One reason is when I was living with one of my buddies in an apartment here, we probably threw away half our shit when we moved out. And that also brings up a good point. It's like, JPEGs, NFTs that we collect, that's not like a physical item. So it's like, it's a little bit harder to throw that away because, it doesn't really take up too much space. So, why are you going to throw away a JPEG?
You know what? That's such a good point. If all of these JPEGs were taking up physical space in our apartments, we would absolutely be. There's no way I'd have. What am I up to? Like 250 NFTs? No chance.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit. When'd you start
Way too
collecting
many.
those, man? Past year?
Yeah,
Couple
man.
years?
Yeah, so it's been. I always get confused on the years, man. Like since COVID and
This
NFTs,
all blends
time is
together.
irrelevant. Yeah, yeah. So it was February 2021 when I started out on Top Shot. Still holding those bags, baby.
Wow. So would you consider that a rug, or what would you consider that at the moment?
Man, what would I consider that? That I would consider corporatism brought into NFTs, maybe.
Okay.
Um,
Like
yeah, I
like
think.
Walmart NFTs or McD's NFTs.
Yeah,
Those
it started out.
those might do pretty good actually. Like the meme keck NFT, like with the McD's hat. And he's at BK or wherever. Stacking them
Dude, that would
Sats,
sell.
boy.
That would sell. The McD's Pepe, like with the hat, dude. Oh my God, everyone would be
Yeah.
buying that.
Yeah, they put out a tweet the other day and said they're back. And then Binance replied back to him and said, "Man, you guys have been missing these candles." And then McDonald's proceeds to say, "Wag me. We're all going to make it."
Really?
Somebody
I didn't
thought it
see
was,
that.
like a top signal maybe. Binance and McD's are working together. I don't fucking know what it is. So I just thought it was funny.
I tweeted the top signal yesterday, but it's completely unfounded. I'm just a dude who's pulling the
Sure.
top signal.
Just
Like, there's no
bullshitting.
way I'm right.
Just bullshitting, we ain't no Michael Saylor, but maybe you are. I definitely am not.
I definitely am not. As if there was an accounting of my buys and sells over the last 3 years, you would learn quickly that I'm not a very good top or bottom caller.
Yeah, fortunately, I'm, probably in the same boat. I think most everybody is. I think if everybody was right, then it'd just be a different kind of world. So it's
Well, yeah,
it's
and the thing I learned in retrospect is it's not about calling a top or a bottom. It's like just take some profits on the way up on things and then just be fine with it.
If you need to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, if you don't necessarily need to, and you got some liquidity there, it's like why get rid of the piece? But I guess that's a relationship that you have with that certain artist or that certain NFT. You know what I mean? So you might be a big part
Yeah.
of the community. Like Hilda here, like Prez. Um, yeah, maybe speaking of community, why don't you tell me a little bit about how you got involved in the T Show Discord and how you earned the title Prez? I mean, that's a pretty badass title, man.
Yeah, it's quite the title, man. It's I think, before jumping into that, it's funny how here in Web3 and in IRL, right? Like we see people in certain positions and we kind of put them on a pedestal. So I think a lot of people are like, "Oh, you're the moderator," and I'm the only moderator of the TJO Discord. So immediately I get put on a pedestal, which I absolutely despise. But that's the way things go. So that's kind of how I got the Prez name. But where did that come from? So I would say like early last year, TJO sent me a DM out of nowhere. And I'm just like, oh, cool. This one random artist just saying what's up. And we just kind of talked about just random things. And then a couple of weeks later, it was just a random day, middle of the day, I'm working. And I open up Twitter and I'm scrolling, and TJO has a post. And he's like, hey, first 25 to comment their ETH address if you want this piece, and I'll whitelist it for you. So I quickly jump in there, put in my comment, and I go up and I count, and I was literally like the 25th comment or
Oh
29th
my
comment, whatever it
god.
was. Yeah, so it was for Little Demon on My Mind if you want to
Yep.
try navigating to that one. So, um, or just go like T-Joe editions. Oh, is it not? Oh, he doesn't have it right on there.
I thought he
Um,
might.
yeah, right. Yeah, so I did that, and I mean that was a degen play, right? Like this was this random dude. He wasn't. I barely knew him from Adam, and I was like, okay, let's throw 0.25 ETH at this or whatever the number was.
How much?
Yeah, so this guy right here, I don't remember what it was, but it was something low, like 0.25 ETH, maybe
He
point
does
0.1, point 0.2.
he does such a great job of giving value. And that's
Oh,
like
big time.
that's something I'm still trying to understand. I'm like, dude, like how do you do it? It's cuz it's just so amazing, like the last drop, Babylon, just perfect. I was like, what?
Right?
Dead giveaway at 1 ETH. I mean, you're I feel like everybody's like super early. Like it's just like the vibes that we get in this Discord it's fucking unreal, man.
It really is. It's something special, man. He's doing something special. Yeah, so that was a DJ in play. I jumped in. I was the last person to grab that edition. And then, a couple weeks later, he's like, "Hey, here's an invite to the Discord." So I go in the Discord, and it was literally like 24 people. He had kept it private the whole time. Right at this time, Tijo only had a couple thousand followers. Like he was nothing.
Was
Um,
that before
so
the big sale blew?
Yeah, so this was a while before. Tijo had just released a couple one of ones. That was his first edition there, Little Demon on My Mind.
Okay.
And then he released a few more editions. He played a little game. We had a scavenger hunt for like semicolon man. I couldn't figure it out. I'm not smart enough to do these scavenger hunts. Yeah, and yeah, so he's released all those other editions since Little Demon on My Mind, as you can see. But yeah, so we're just hanging out in the Discord, and he had this thing that he'd do every Monday in the voice chat called Wrecked Mondays. And I just started hopping in there randomly because it was at a good time here. And it would just be Tijo, myself, and like one or two other random dudes that just happened to be hanging in Discord. And we would chat for an hour. We'd talk about our personal lives. Half the time I was like doing a workout or like jogging or lifting weights or
I'm
something
on the
and
treadmill.
commenting in between sets. Yeah. Yeah, it was like no pressure, man. Yeah, so
Sweating. Hey,
yeah,
man.
right. Yeah. No, it was literally that. I was running sprints the one day with my AirPods in, and I just like pause and like share something. Yeah, man. So it was just tiny, and T. Joe's like, "Oh, I see you moderate the Discord for Thank You X, which he's a pretty big
Hmm.
artist,
Okay.
not as big these days." And he was like, "Hey man, would you ever want to manage my Discord?" I was like, "Yeah, dude. If you ever pop or make it big," and he was totally on the same page. He was like, "Yeah, man. If I ever make it big and open up the Discord, you and me, let's do it. You moderate it."
That's great.
So fast forward a couple months, he just starts selling like crazy. His one of ones just start skyrocketing. Every next one he releases, it like doubles the sale price, all time high. It's like, whoa, what's going on here? And all of a sudden, he's like, dude, like we're doing this. Let's open up the Discord. Let's get it built. So I built a whole Discord. Made it super secure. That was the number one thing that T-Joe has cared about this whole time is like making it secure because we got some big time collectors in here. So there's phishing links going out. There's a lot of bad things that can happen. So yeah, so we're rocking and rolling in the Discord. There's probably 200 of us, and then T-Joe drops Blue, which is what we're looking at here. So this is essentially someone brought up the idea of T-Joe doing a self portrait, and this is T-Joe's self portrait. I want to say I want to say something like 10 days painting this. When you actually see it in real life, it's not all that big, man. It's like a 10-inch by 12-inch piece of paper. He spent an entire week on. So he dropped that. He did something unique, which was a 7-day auction on Super Rare. And during that 7 days, on the second day or something like that, he decided to release it as CC0, right? Which means anyone can take this and do whatever the heck they want with it.
It's like
And dude,
commercial
as you saw,
rights. It's
Austin,
like commercial rights released, right? Something like that.
exactly. It's just like anyone can take this, do whatever they want with this thing. It doesn't matter. And that's when things went nuts. So we decided to do a little contest. We launched it in the Discord. Everyone submit your CC0 derivative. And
Hmm.
it went bananas. So in the Discord, we still have a channel. It's I'm looking at it right now. It's called the Blueseum. And there are hundreds of submissions, dude. Like hundreds of people around the world took their time to create a new piece. Some used existing pieces. They put in for the background. They did all sorts of things with it. And then they were doing it on Twitter too. If you search like hashtag Blue on Twitter, you can see there's like over 600 submissions. So all this was happening at the same time. People are plowing in the Discord. The Discord went from 200 people to 1,000 people almost overnight. And at the same time, this auction was ongoing, and the auction just keeps going up and up and up and up. And eventually, what did it sell for? Like 69 ETH,
Yeah,
something crazy.
69.420 or something like that.
Yeah. So it's like, man, T-Joe and I were kind of just steady running along, open up the Discord, and then all of a sudden, boom, that was just an insane week.
That's
Insanity. Like
amazing.
I would send a tweet and TJ would retweet it, and I'd get hundreds of likes on it. Like never had anything with more than 10 likes on a tweet. That was
Finally
crazy.
famous, Big Sean,
Yes,
Sean
hey,
John. That's
dude,
amazing,
those were the
brother.
good old days of Big Sean. Finally famous.
Finally
Now we're
famous in
talking.
it. You know, okay, so the first time I seen Tijo, it's like a lifetime remembrance, okay? And I was
Ooh,
I was probably like late to the show, but it was his Nifty Gateway drop, okay? That day,
that was a
I was
moment too.
oh yeah, that day I was in Edinburgh, Scotland, right?
Oh,
We just got done with the Bitcoin Angel Castle Party with Trevor Jones, which by the
oh,
way
that's
was
right. You went to
ba-
that.
badass, bro. He's doing one in Paris, like in a couple months, and I feel like we just got back from Scotland, so I'm like, babe, like, my girlfriend, I'm like, we have to wait a little bit, so like maybe next year or something we'll do the next castle party, but yeah. So anyway,
Oh,
so it was the
what?
last day that we were in Scotland, and I'm like looking on Nifty Gateway, super bullish on NFTs. Just had like a IRL meetup, and everybody was like sharing their ideas and like seeing where this space is gonna be in like 5-10 years, and just like insane, a lot of like mindedness. And so, anyways, this is the last day. We're in Edinburgh. We're in the hotel, and I'm on Nifty Gateway, and I'm like, holy shit, who's this guy Tijo? And I was looking at the art, and okay, all right. So this was like really strange for me. For some reason, I thought it was like an addition out of like 100 on each piece or something like that. and then like right before the drop, I think it went to like 50 per piece. I don't. This is like what I
Oh,
remember.
it might have.
I don't know
Yeah,
if it
totally.
actually happened. It was like me just like going fucking crazy. Like I don't know what it was. So like I'm like, oh my god, babe, like this is like fucking insane art. I'm like, let's both throw down. You know, I'll enter in on both the drawings, and you enter in both the drawings. So we entered in,
Yes.
and then like I shared it like with a couple of my Scotland buddies. I was like, check this dude out, and they're like, whoa. We entered in, and there was like 4,000, 5,000 entries, and I'm like, what the fuck? You know, and
Crazy.
then it hit, and then it was just like I couldn't even buy one because it just like, you know, sooner or later it was like 1,500 or 2 grand, and I was so broke from Scotland. I'm like, I gotta like make sure we
Dude, it was
can pay
crazy.
for the flight on the way back. You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah. So that was like the first time I ever seen Tijo. It was like so epic. Like I'll never fucking forget that, man.
Yeah, man, that nothing has gone that crazy in secondary on Nifty Gateways since the early days, man. Like it was two $50 pieces with 50 editions, I think, something like that. And then the secondary, a bunch of people were reselling at 200 and $300. Then it jumps to $600. That's what I bought in at. So I bought
Oh,
one of each at about six hundred
oh,
dollars, which is an absolute steal when you
oh
look
my
back.
god.
Yeah, so I was able to get mine. I was able to burn them. So I do have the one of 23 burn edition of that, man. But yeah, it shot up to like $2,000. Yeah, here was the actual drop. I really wish I would have bid on either of those auctions.
This is one way to black out is probably one of my favorite pieces by him. Somebody made a comment and they're like, "Hey, no matter how you turn the piece, like if you flip it horizontally, it always appears that he's falling." And so I was like, "How in
Oh
the fuck?"
yeah,
Yeah, so
you're right.
that's like real trippy to me because it's kind of hard like you know, no matter how you flip it, upside down, it just always looks like he's falling. So that's like one of my favorite pieces. That's fucking badass that he can portray that in there.
There's just so much to every single piece that, we're not even getting. There's so much depth in every single item. And earlier you were showing a couple of the newer pieces, man, and I'm floored by his new work. It's just I think it's taken a jump up really. When you just look at how clean the colors are and how clean it all kind of looks together. Yeah, or on the Babylon
Oh yeah, yeah,
piece,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
just beautiful.
Here,
Yeah, it's interesting how he's really
this
yeah,
is
here
the
we
one
go.
of
You can
one,
see
right?
there's kind of like
Yep.
there's a bit of a different look to it from those older pieces.
Yeah, this is the one of one. So Tijo had a recent Babylon drop, which, by the way, I love the platform. I love the founders. Like every single artist in it is so fucking amazing. I was telling my girlfriend, I'm like, babe, like Babylon didn't just set up a platform. I go, they got a lot of big artists in there, like, like very
Yeah,
very talented artists. I'm like, this isn't just like a drop. This is like real art. So super
no,
amazing props to those guys having to deal with all the negativity bullshit. I'm not all about that. Like I think it's so badass to see people sell out in 1 second, like see people get so upset that they can't. That's like true art and that's like if art can make you have a certain emotion, then it did its job. So I'm like all about that
yes.
shit. Like it's just so badass. So, I'm just so blessed to be able to be involved in this kind of movement and this kind of emergence from these amazing artists. It's wonderful.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And the thing that's changed for me the past 6 months with through Tijo is like I just want to see the new art now. Like it's enough of an experience getting to see this new art, look into it. I always, download the full size thing. I zoom in on it. There's so many details. So like, that's cool. I don't have to be buying and selling every single Tijo piece.
Yup. Yup. Exactly. So, I'm fortunate enough to have two of his pieces. One from the Shower Challenge, Call Me, and the next one was from the recent Babylon drop. But it's like, I'm not really like thinking about selling those pieces. I really enjoy hanging out with you guys in the Discord, and I feel like that's kind of the key, into the community and stuff like that. And it's really cool appreciating the art and sharing it with other people too. I have a lot of confidence in all you guys.
I love that. Yeah, I'm NFA, but I'm quite bullish on Tijo. I
Uh-huh.
got to meet him and hang out with him a little bit at Art Basel, and
Okay.
it only took 10 minutes of just chilling with him. We were actually sitting in front of the blue piece.
Oh wow.
Um, and he kind of blew my mind just with some of the things he was sharing. So he's a really cool dude, and he's got a completely unique sort of attitude towards things. Like he really is framing his work and what he's doing in the context of like, this is going to be a big deal in 10, 50, 100 years, and I need to treat it like it's that big of a deal.
Yeah, this definitely I have some confidence, this would look great in a museum, next to some masterpieces. And I think it takes a lot to say that. I mean, you could like think that like, you buy a piece and you're like, "Oh, this artist should be in the museum." But like, do you actually feel like that? And Tijo really gets me
Touche.
feeling like, okay, this is like some very great work of art, So, props to you, brother. What you're doing in the Discord, man. Keep doing it, and props to Tijo as well.
Appreciate that, man.
No problem. Next kind of topic I wanted to bring up was the current open edition market. It's open
Ooh,
edition season, baby. What do you think about all that, man?
man, I went and retweeted one of my old tweets from like early December yesterday, and it was me tweeting that I hope I can make it through open edition season with some
No
ETH in my
shit.
pocket. So I'm like, oh, it's been open edition season for a couple months now. It's just really gone to a new level. So I think it's worth highlighting yesterday was just crazy. I mean, first of all, it was a Saturday. Usually, if anything, a Saturday is going to be slower in this market. Um, but what Yagami did, and then what was the $2 million OE artist? I'm just blanking.
Ness graphics.
Ness. Yeah, so Ness is an absolute legend. Like that guy was killing it early Nifty Gateway days. Like Ness has all completely unique art. He is on an insane level. But for his open edition to do such crazy numbers, I'm like, okay, that's kind of getting to some bananas numbers there.
Yeah.
And then what really kind of threw me off was Yagami. So Yagami is an artist I worked with
Okay.
early and
Yep.
curated some of his art. And he did an open edition yesterday of just a super simple basic sketch. Yeah, you'll bring it up here. By the way, the Twitter search has been broken for
Okay.
so long.
Yeah, it's kind of shit box, isn't it?
Yagami.
Okay. Okay.
You're just missing an A after the G. Yeah, there you go.
Hold on. I can find it. Just give me a second here.
um, yeah, so he did a 2 minute open edition of just a simple sketch. Yeah, there it is right
Oh,
there. You
oh,
just
oh.
passed it.
Here we go.
Yeah, so look at this. So it was either open for 2 minutes or 69. Yeah, 69 seconds. So 5,000 minted. So I went and looked at the OpenSea, and you can see that there were a ton of collectors that max minted 69 editions of this. So I'm kind of jumping ahead here, but so this blew my mind. I was like, okay, there's something funky going on here. All of those folks max minting 69 editions, and I didn't recognize a single one of the wallets. This makes me start to think that we have some real prospectors here that have employed bots that are looking at Manifold and minting these large amounts. Like this feels like Yaga just stumbled into sort of minting something at a specific price with with a high maximum claim number, and it just tripped all the bots and into purchasing. I don't know. Am I crazy? What do you think?
You know, I love, again, earlier I was saying I love to see artists, max it out, sell out in 1 second. Like,
Hell yeah.
people were pissed off, like, oh, they set up bots for the Nest graphics drop or this and that. And it's like, okay, if they're willing to go through the trouble of doing that and like maxing it out, the artist is getting what he wants, like that to me, it's like wag me. We're all gonna make it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just so amazing seeing an artist capture all that value from different people. So I'm all for it. You know what I'm saying? Like yeah, it's probably a lot of additions, whatever. But if you know how to handle everything, I think they'll be just fine. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
great. It's great
And
for like new collectors too that are wanting to get into the ecosystem.
oh, absolutely, man. And that's what I tell artists too, man. Like it's this attitude that you have to sell out everything and every single drop you have to sell out instantly. And if you don't, you're a failure. Like, no. What about new collectors? What about when you do an all-time high on super rare and then a bunch of people see it and they go, "Oh, well, I'd love a Yagami."
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what? It's good to actually have some things on the market that people can buy. And those people that max minted 69 editions with zero utility, what are you doing? Those are going to be selling for pennies. So you're going to be able to get a Yagami for pennies. Like,
Yeah, it's great.
heck yeah.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, it's so cool seeing
Yeah.
artists, make that kind of success. Um,
Yeah, but yeah, what the thing I keep kind of putting at the end, which I think I should start putting at the front when I share my thoughts on open editions. Yeah, so that's going to be Yagami's open edition. That's in it's in like a day or two.
February
Yeah, on
1st,
the first.
2023.0777.
Yeah, so this is going to be dope. This is the real actual open edition. He did that other thing for fun, thinking 20 people had minted, and it got minted to 5,000. Like, you know, there's something goofy going on with that. But the thing I wanted to say was, I'll share all of what I think is best to be done and give my advice and everything. But in the end, artists should do whatever the hell they want, 100% of the time. Take in my feedback, take in Austin's feedback, take in feedback from 100 other people, look at the other artists, and decide to do your own thing. So that's where I'm like the open edition. Yeah, I may be fudding it to some extent and joking around that maybe
It's all
this is a
fun.
top single
It's
signal.
fun.
It's all in fun, and
Uh-huh.
and the other thing that the perspective that I'm bringing is I'm looking at the larger market and I'm looking at it from the buyer side, right? Like we got a whole bunch of prospectors in here just throwing money at things and buying. This isn't a reflection on the artist. This is a reflection of the market in itself and the other participants. And right now, there's some funky participants.
I like that aspect. It's definitely a reflection of the market and the collectors. It's not necessarily the artist. The artist just, puts
Oh,
their work up and is like, hey, this is how much I'm going to ask for it. Unlimited. Buy as many as you want, whatever. We all know how to have multiple wallets by now, and, there's not really a
yeah,
max
man.
limit. Somebody mentioned it the other
There
day. They were
isn't.
like, how come you didn't limit it to one? And it's like, well, I mean, if you really wanted it, you could set up 100 wallets and buy from each wallet. I mean, there's always ways around things. So much respect to the
Exactly.
people just pushing it next level. Keep doing what you guys are doing. Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Agreed. And if I were to keep going on, I would also add that I do think it is important to curate your collectors as much as you are able as an early artist. Yes, it's one thing when you're doing Terrell numbers or Beeple numbers. It's like curating your collector base is absolutely out of the question. Or Tijo, Tijo's attempting to really continue curating his collector base as you've seen.
And not
But
everybody
yeah,
can
I
do
think
that. So he's just, I
no,
mean, that's,
no.
next level shit, but he's got it figured out,
Exactly,
man.
but doing a big old open edition, you're losing that control of managing your collectors and being able to have confidence in them because you're going to get some funky actors in there. So, it just you got to weigh all these things, I think, and when you're growing as an artist, there's no wrong answer, but I think there are righter answers at certain stages.
For sure, brother. Thank you for sharing that. Next thing up, I guess this is kind of like the grand finale here. I recently have been working on a piece of my own. Gosh, since I looked yesterday, it was like November 13 is when I was actually like prepping the canvas and everything for this piece. Took me kind of a while to figure out what I was going to name it and like what exactly I was after, but ended up putting some things together and named it Dead Space. Um, I was kind of going back and forth between some names and stuff like that. But most importantly, so this piece right here that I created, it's a one of one. Um, I posted out a tweet, gosh, last year, like 3 4 months ago, and was like, hey, follow these instructions. Like this tweet, comment here. You have 24 hours, and it was just all for fun, all for random. Nobody knew what they were getting. I, never said they're getting a piece, nothing. And so I collected those 24 people. I call it the 24 entries. And they are actually, we're going to do a raffle for this piece here. So, yeah. So it's Dead Space. It's the 24 entries that followed my instructions early on. This was made on actually a canvas. I primed it. I started using some acrylic paint, some spray paint. I actually used some of the images here are generated from DALL-E 2 and printed out, cut out on paper, and glued to the canvas. So, then I would paint around that. I took that image, uploaded it to Procreate. So that's why you see some of the grid lock up at the top right. Some of the words there, we have keck, burn, allow list, 10K, open edition season. For some reason, I just wanted to put there the death of the dollar, actual mint, utility. So anyway, so I got a little spin wheel. I got it pulled up on my iPad. I wanted to do it on the computer, but sometimes it lags. So it's going to be kind of ghetto, but I got a wheel here, and here we go. Tap to spin.
I love it, man.
It's It'll say who
I'm
won.
like, did I interact with that tweet? Fingers
No,
crossed.
I don't think we do each other.
No.
Ricky Reiser, he is the winner. Ricky Reiser, DM me your wallet address, and I'll send you the one of one. I got my Genesis piece.
Oh man, that's exciting. Can I ask you a little bit about the piece?
Absolutely, brother. Ask away.
Okay, so you truly did mixed media. So that's number one, what I love about it. You did a whole bunch of different things to this, and that's more and more I find the art I like is like that, man.
Oh, thanks, brother. Yeah, and also the note section, like the words that I put up there, that is on a sheet of paper, and words that I actually physically wrote. When I was going for my final draft here, I had some different words on there. So I used Procreate to white some of the words out and then write with the Procreate pencil ink or whatever, and change some of those words. So, I just kind of liked it, how it kind of like related to like the current market and, some memes and stuff like that. So I just wanted it, just to like relate to people.
Man, okay. And my other question, have you done art before? Are you like a noob like me and this is you branching out and doing something new?
Yeah, just full newbie. Like back in the day, I always used to draw mazes. So that might be something that
Oh,
I'm interested in later down the line, is doing some mazes. I don't know if
dude, I
like,
love doing a maze. I love
yeah,
that,
I don't know if there's
figuring it
like
out.
there's some maybe like crazy way I can like digitize it and make it like interactive. I don't know. But just
Dude,
something for thought later down the line. Um yeah, man, I was just kind of like doodled and stuff like that, but never like wanted everybody to see it. So, it just I did FOMOverse radio. This all started as a joke. And that was kind of a question with myself. I'm like, do I want to integrate my artwork with FOMOverse Radio? And I'm like, I don't know. I think they should be like separate entities, if that makes sense. So like, you got Austin Hamilton, the artist, and then you also have Austin Hamilton does his FOMOverse radio show. So I just, wanted to kind of separate the two, because like my whole show is like saxophone theme and stuff like that. So I was just like, you know what? Let me just kind of separate the two. But yeah, no. So that'll be my one of one. Um, a lot of it's inspired by Pac. I know he kind of gets like a bad rap right now. A lot of people say he's like the rug of the century, this, and that. I still believe in him.
let's talk Pac if you don't mind. Yeah, give
I
me give me your 2 cents.
Okay,
Yeah.
so like I first got into Pac when I first got into Trevor Jones. I mean, it just kind of like
course.
stacked on top of each other. So the first NFT I seen, let me take you back a little bit, was the Picasso Bull Bitcoin Angel, and I actually watched the drop on YouTube. And it
Oh,
was yeah, it was from a YouTuber and also big Twitter guy, Jason Williams, going parabolic. He kind of
mm-hmm.
like got me into like Nifties and stuff like that. So BTC, all that. So I was like, oh my gosh, what is this Picasso Bull like? What the hell is NFTs? And like, so I started like getting into it and seeing like people were paying like 4 grand for it like back in the day, and I was just like, how? So I started diving into it, and then like,
Crazy.
Trevor Jones, I was like, man, it would be so cool to have one of his pieces. Like, I can't afford a Picasso Bull, but like maybe one day I'll own something by him. And then he comes out with a collab with Pac, and it was Fusion Extrusion. And Trevor Jones did some paintings of like Michael Bisquet, Andy Warhol, Picasso. The list goes on, and sent them to Pac. I don't know if it was like physically or what it was. And then Pac took them all digital and made like these crazy cubes with like the changing
So sick.
faces and everything. So that was like kind of my first time seeing Pac. I was like, okay, like if Trevor Jones is in on this guy, like, or this entity, like maybe it might be something. And so I got into it because I just love the work. And then the fungible happened. I dropped like the most money I ever have on any work, and it was the fungible 10.
Oof.
I bought like 12 cubes, and
Woo!
it was a 10 cube, and then I bought two singles. Later, come to find out, I should have just bought 12 singles, but whatever, we won't go there. And
Yep.
so like after like okay, so and then like right before the fungible, like maybe a few months before that, Mad Dog Jones had a burn mechanism that I think people forget with his thought as a system, ideas are the currency. So you would take
Yep.
five of those, burn those for one of one. They were like valued at the time at like $1 million or something, I thought.
Yep.
And so anyway, so like
Yep.
after that burn, then there was like the fungible, and then it's like I didn't even realize it, but they're like you can burn the cube and get a currency for it, and I'm like, I never heard anything like, how in the fuck does that even happen? So you got
Right.
to go on burn.art, you got to like hit burn, and then you get like at the time it was like 1,000 ash, and ash was like 50
Mm-hmm.
cents or $1, which it is now. But anyway, so that's
Yep.
like what kind of like kept the value of like the fungible up, was like also the community and the work, the artist, but like also like it kind of had like a currency to back it, which I'd never
Yep.
seen it that kind of shit before. And it just went crazy. Like, if you want to get like super deep into it, there's this guy, Silver Surfer, and he's like a one of one collector, meme lord, whatever. I've had him on the show.
Yeah.
He's a nice guy.
He's awesome. Yeah.
He put up like three one of ones, and got a loan from those one of ones for like 1.5 million. So he took that and bought every single edition of the fungible, ran it up to like 20, 30 grand, and right before everybody's eyes. And it's like, holy shit, like these fungible cubes of like 5,000 editions are like 30 grand. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it
And
was crazy,
you could like
man.
burn the cube, you'd have like 30 grand of ash, whatever. Crazy shit, right?
Yeah, it was nuts.
So then, merge comes around, people are buying like $100,000 worth of stuff. And then, the bear market happens, you know, people are starting to sell for like 10 grand. I mean, taking like 90% losses. Pot goes
Yep.
dark, he's working on some shit. People start to lose faith. The hype's kind of down. And then they kind of lose track of, what they were doing in the first place. So I think one lesson from this is like, if you're going to buy into something, buy into it because you like it, and buy into it with something that you can afford to lose. Don't blame the artist just because you fucking decided to sell for a 90% loss. That's on you,
Yeah,
bro. You hit the buy and
exactly.
sell button.
And not to mention, if you're buying, 12 identical cubes and those cubes all of a sudden 40x in value and you don't take the gains on that 40x, it's kind
And
of
then you
like
get mad
shame on you.
later. Yeah. And then you get mad later.
That's me.
Dude,
That's me.
Oh, you got 40 of them?
No, no, I mean, I got what's the one called? The Circle. I dropped like three
Merge?
or four grand on the Circle one. Merge, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still holding one of those.
So, did you qualify to get any matter? Do you know about
Uh,
that?
Maybe I don't even know. I know there
Okay.
was the drop a few months ago, and I was barely out of the 450 leaderboard or whatever. I was ranked like 470 or something, so I didn't even get to participate in that.
Yeah, so this
Yeah,
is the matter
no
drop.
idea.
So Mass had its own drop. It was mass.black. It's an actual website. And you go to it and you see if you qualified for these certain pieces right here. They're called matter. They're each all individual one of ones. They all have their own unique properties. Some are bigger, some are larger. Some are like a cluster look. Some are kind of more like a weathered, whisper in the air. And then it was cool. So you could take these matter, right? And it was interesting. One of my buddies that's real big into POC goes, "Hey, there's this new thing coming out like right now. It's called antimatter." And I'm like, "What the hell is that?" And he's like, "You take your matter and you send it to the burn address, like OXOOO." And I'm like,
Cool.
"So we're just gonna like fucking burn our own pieces? Like, what do you like? Why?" And he's like, "Just trust." And I was like, "All right, Tristan, I trust you." So I ended up sending my matter to the burn address, and Pac had something in the contract to where once you do that, it triggers a new mint, and you get an antimatter back. And it
Yeah,
shows
see,
that
that
like you
stuff's
meant
cool.
like the burn address minted it. It's so next level. You know what I'm saying? So I
Totally.
just love like the innovation, and like I think people will come back around to the innovation. And I think they're right now they're kind of losing sight of like our history and like where digital art and NFTs came from. But I think later people will look back on Providence and say, "Oh yeah, that was like the first of its time or the first of its kind." And
That's true.
well, whether that like adds value or price, whatever, but like it's still cool that like that is a piece of like the NFT history and stuff like that. So
Oh, absolutely. He's an extremely important part of our history, no matter what happens going forward from here.
sure.
Um, but to even kind of loop this back around, man, I think part of what happened with Pac was a bit of too big to fail thinking. Like it was insane how big his ecosystem got between all of the different pieces he had released and all the economy and all these things. It got so massive that it almost kind of fell beneath its own weight. And that's something I worry about when I see someone minting $2 million worth of an open edition. Maybe it's not going to affect that artist specifically, but the larger market right now, what's happening is so much of the liquidity is being sucked into these massive additions. It's really tough to have right like this market is a whole bunch of prospectors, so they're dumping their money into one thing, they're hoping to get gains, then they're going to pull it out of that and put it into the next thing, hope to get gains. But at some point everyone's putting their money into the same pot, and that pot is going to go down, and there's going to be a bunch of folks that pull out that cash on the way down, and all of a sudden it just kind of collapses under its own weight. So that's kind of my worry on that, on the larger market, is it's not going to be a specific artist that tanks it, but I mean, someone shared, months ago when we used to talk about Pac all the time, just the volume of pieces he had out in the market was just astounding, you know?
Oh my gosh. I mean, and think about now compared to then, it was like nobody was selling out like 10,000 edition. Well, there was like PFP projects and stuff like that, but like artists individually weren't doing like 10K mints,
No,
you know what I'm saying? Back
no.
then. And I put a tweet out the other day and I was like, imagine if the greatest artist of all time did an open edition with a mint price of point 0.1. And I go, "Oh wait, dot dot dot." And so it's like it's
Oh,
like it kind of already happened. And like he just Pac, I feel like, knows like the early trends. And so it's cool again, the innovation. People are going to look at the next shiny object. Like I tell my friends, I'm like, you know, Nest graphics happen. It's like, what's happening next week now? You know, and these people
Yep.
that you were saying, Hilda, it's like, you know, they'll come in, they'll put their money in one thing, hope it does something, they'll see something else, and then take that money out and put it into the next thing. So here's kind of what I'm thinking. So this week, or actually, yeah, Monday. So Mad Dog Jones has something coming out now. It's called Forever Mart. Open
Ooh.
Monday,
Oh,
January 30th. Details to follow. Wild times with these open editions. Been cooking a mechanic idea with Manifold for a while. Should I drop art reveal?
oh, this is exciting.
Yep.
Okay, so Austin, I in the background because no one's paying attention to Pac or Mad Dog Jones these past few months. What was the one I got? I bought the original Mad Dog Jones that he dropped with Pac, where it's like an apartment building,
Okay.
and then you can it
Yep.
was the one where I had
Okay.
to get like five different pieces, and then I had to burn four of those pieces, and it upgraded my Mad Dog Jones
Uh
to
huh.
be a unique NFT. Dude, that
Did
one I'm holding close for the long term,
did
man. No one's
did you morph
looking at
it?
that though. Yeah, I morphed it.
Oh, dude, those are like so underrated. That whole
Dude, there's
collection,
only like 20 of them or something,
dude.
dude.
Yeah,
Dude, I have like
there's
a
like
one of
nothing.
20 or 30 Mad Dog Jones that
It's
no
nothing.
one's been looking at him.
No, no. And you know, eventually people will wake up. I mean, there's just some like phenomenal artists in here. You know, regardless of like
Yeah,
your
man.
views on Pac, but it's like, okay, well, like, what about like, you know, you have like Raf Grassetti, you know,
Yeah,
this one's
Raf
Pussy
Gazzetti,
Riot.
long term. He's,
I,
he's unbelievable.
I've talked
Fuck Render.
to, yeah, Fuck Render. I've talked with Adam Swab, bro. This dude is like next level, like 4D art, bro. He's fucking insane. You got Blake
Ooh.
Catherine. You got Paris Hilton, 6 and 5. Philip Otis, of course. You know, legend OG Coldy. I mean, come on, guys. So you know, Zomax,
Yeah.
and there's just some
So
like,
much fun.
oh yeah, yeah. But yeah, no, definitely, man. Yeah, anything
Proud of that
that
piece.
Oh, that's sick, bro. Anything that you wanted to maybe bring up for the show for the viewers? We're going on 50 minutes already. It just flies by, I know. Try to keep it a little shorter than an hour. So, anything maybe you wanted to chat about real quick before we cut the show here?
Yeah, maybe just the last thing I'd love to shill a little bit. I've started to curate a lot, and it's something I'm really focusing on here in 2023. As we talked about through the TJO Discord, I'm exposed to a ton of artists directly every day, and I just want to help. So I want to use the little microphone I have to try and elevate their voices and get their art in front of more collectors. So I've done a few drops on Nifty Gateway, as I'm sure you've seen, that have been a lot of fun. But the past 2 months, I've been putting together my biggest sort of curation yet. So if you want, you can navigate to my Twitter in the background. I'm sure there's a post about it. But yeah, so on the 31st, in 2 days, I'll be dropping We Must See the Light. So this is where I worked with five artists, and yeah, I'll have more posts today and tomorrow. The
I think
website
I
will be
seen
live
it. I
soon.
think I seen it on
Yeah,
here.
yeah. Keep scrolling. I haven't. I got to talk about it today. There we go.
Okay, okay.
That one with Boyan's on there. So this is one of the artists, Boyan. So I worked with these five artists, and I'm working with Block Party. So Block Party has built me a custom website. A little bit of alpha here at the end here. It's not live yet. It was live. I had to have them fix a few things, but it's going to be hildabroom.xyz. And I'll be hosting these five artists on that website in one single drop on Tuesday. So I sent them all a prompt about 2 months ago that was titled "We Must See the Light." And the prompt was basically just, it's been a long 3 years of COVID and darkness, and now we've been stuck in winter for a few months, and maybe there's a little bit of hope in there. And as you're starting to see a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel, looking towards spring and the summer, how do you feel? How would you illustrate this through your art? And all the five of those artists created a single unique piece. And so, yeah, we'll be dropping that on Tuesday. It'll be 16 editions per artist. It's only 0.07 ETH. And as you'll find out, a few of those artists are pretty big deals. If you go to the very top of my Twitter, so there's Manfredi, man, actually just click the very top, click my banner. So Manfredi, he's amazing. He does these crazy zoomed out. They're just absolutely amazing. He hasn't dropped his piece yet. He'll be dropping it tomorrow, so no one's seen it yet. But Manfredi, he's selling one of ones for 2, 3, 4 ETH. So this is a deal to get an edition of 16 for 0.07. Same with Anzomez. So he's a glitch artist. BB Drip's a photographer. Boyan, you just saw, he does mixed media. And then Irina, she's an acrylic painter. So it's an acrylic painting that she did. So yeah, dude, I had to show this. I'm so excited about it, man. This is the coolest thing I've done in this space. And I just can't wait to see how it goes on Tuesday, dude.
Man, I'm pumped for you, bro. That's unreal, dude. Again, I've watched you on Nifty Gateway with your curated editions, with the Yagmi guy, and then also Kai, right? That's
Yeah.
yeah. So, and bro, I don't know how this happened. If you like called the servers, I got when he did his open edition, number 1, 2, and 3.
Yes,
Like
you
it
did.
just was so unreal. Like I'm like, okay, whatever. Like there was like 50 or 60 minted. I'm like, all right, I'll just buy 3, and I'm like, I'll get like number 48 or something random. And
Oh, dude,
bro,
stoked you
I looked
brought that
up.
up.
It said
Stoked
like
you got those.
it's like open edition initiated number 1, and I was like, dude, like that's like OG. So I thought it was pretty badass.
Dude,
So
that's gonna be tough though. When we got the burn coming up next week or the
yeah.
week after, that's a little alpha too. You're not gonna want to burn that number one.
No. And you know what? I might keep just like the whole 1, 2, and 3 set. Just leave them alone. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh, I
I had
love
a couple buddies that bought some. Like maybe I'll buy them off of them, and we'll figure it out. But I like that little 1, 2, 3. Like that's cool.
See, that's the thing people are missing
Uh
when you're
huh.
looking at it from the outside or just prospecting on things. Like, I want to do that too.
Uh huh.
Like, oh, you have this artist. I think Luca brought this up the other day.
Mm.
Like, the cool thing with the open edition for larger collectors is like, I have a one of one, I have a limited edition. Well, I want to get their open edition too. It's just something about
Something about having like the
having groups of
set
things.
and like the what is
Yes,
it, Luke
dude.
Ray or what?
Lacrice,
Lucrece that have he's
how
getting
do you
like
say it?
everybody's getting like a full set. So
Mm-hmm.
so here's Luca. Man, he's been doing pretty good with the poems lately. I think he just
Yeah.
put one up there for nearly for free, and I think it jumped up all the
Oh,
way to
scroll
like
up a little bit.
point
I want to
7.
show the ons. Sorry about
No,
interrupting
go
you,
ahead, man.
Austin.
Go ahead.
Uh, Scroll up a little bit. There's the ons piece that will be dropping on Tuesday. Right there.
Oh, bro, and I started following the artist. Is it Ons? That's what they're called.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I started following them because just I really like this like deep kind of like dark work, and it kind of like reminds me of Tijo, with like a little bit of their own kind of style to it. And I just really like the eerie kind of dark, skulls and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. So yeah,
Yeah,
this
dude.
artist, when you posted this, I was like, dude, this is some alpha right here.
Yeah, there may be like a mini gas war, a gas battle.
Yeah, that piece is what's up, man.
Yeah,
Whoa.
man. Good things coming this year with the curation. Gonna taking a little break here, but we got some big things popping this year, man. Gonna put some artists on.
Congrats, brother. Well, hey, again, man, thank you for coming on the show. Really appreciated having you. Hildabroom, if somebody wants to be part of this drop that you're having, where can they find that?
Follow me on Twitter at Hildabroom7, or as I tell everyone, navigate to my profile or Joe's profile and jump in the Discord. Discord's the place to be. Every Monday night we have Rect Mondays. It's an awesome call. Also, really good community.
Awesome.
That's where you can find me, man.
Awesome, brother. Well, again, thank you so much for coming on the show, brother. Really appreciated having you. You guys all take care. You have a wonderful rest of your Sunday.
Thanks, dude.
Death to life.